Hi everyone and welcome back to Now I See. Today I've got Anthony and Tony back with me. So today we're going to find out more about what exactly happened with Tony in the last 10 years. Tony, welcome back.
Welcome.
So what happened in the last 10 years?
Well, in the last 10 years that me and Anthony parted, as I said before, my family went through, a bit of a tough time. We went from pretty much riches to rags. Just divorce isn't easy, especially on the kid. You always take it out on yourself and on your life. My dad went to Europe for a few years. My mum moved to Queensland. I went with my mum for a bit. Didn't get along with her too well. On the journey, it wasn't the best of journeys. Being in Queensland, I was the only Middle Eastern background between like 200 Aussies at a school. That was really fun. I was stuck out like a sore thumb. I used to get picked on a lot for being Middle Eastern. Anyway, I wasn't there for long. I was only there for 6 months. I left there and came back to Sydney. I started work. I was like a cleaner of a workshop, a mechanic workshop. Worst experience of my life. Guy was racist. He used to throw things at me. I used to clean oil all day, all night, wash cars. That's all I did. And he used to pay me like $30 or $40 a week. I didn't know any better. At the time, that was a lot of money for me. I turned 14 in 9 months, and I got a apprenticeship in hairdressing. I guess I was hairdressing. And as I was hairdressing, this is where things started going on. As in introduced to women and, all sorts of things and, the party life and the nightlife and it pulled me away from, it took my mind off, what happened. Being a young guy, losing your family and stuff like that. It took me away from all that. As it took me away, a lot of things come along with, doing wrong, obviously. I had bad friends. My friends weren't the best of the best, I could say that. They did all sorts of things. They worked different kind of jobs to ordinary people. So we always had, a load of money to blow, lived in hotels, had some really fun times. Pretty much, I've always been lost. I've always had this feeling in my heart, I'm missing. There's something in there that needs to be filled.
So you basically had it all.
I don't even know what. Where I started working was in the north, so I was in like a suburban area. Then I went from there to working in the heart of the city of Sydney. It was just I lived a life totally full of, tied down to the earth. Literally, I used to work a week to buy a pair of jeans. You do things and you just think how silly you are, but you still do them just because everyone else around you is doing them. So you felt like you're just walking with that pack. You know what I mean? You never did anything because you wanted to. You did anything because everyone else was doing it. Oh, it's all right because they're doing it. You know what I mean? I used to go every night. I was out. I couldn't remember a week straight I stayed home. I could never remember that. I never saw my parents. Very little, very, very little portion I saw any family members, unless they were out partying with me or whatever. A lot of people looked up to me, with the way I used to, be with people and the way I used to meet women and stuff like that. A lot of my friends used to look up to me with that. I used to think nothing of it. For me, it was like ordinary. I guess it's just I've done a lot of wrong, and I've witnessed a lot of wrong, and I've been around a lot of wrong. I guess you could say there was completely no God in my life. But one thing I'm really thankful for is, even as I committed sin, He still protected me, which is probably the most powerful thing.
That sounds beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah. What about you, Anthony? What happened in the 10 years that, like Tony wasn't in your life and you graduated from school?
Oh, look, I had a great upbringing, great family, good friends. Everything was going well in my life. I was a bit confused. I didn't really break the law or anything, but I did break the commandments. That was a definite given, in terms of like being sexually immoral, lying, coveting, taking the Lord's name in vain, that sort of thing. But that was definitely in my life. Look, there was nothing really entirely wrong with it. I was very lost, and like similar to what Tony said, your heart yearns for something that nothing in the world can satisfy. And then the most probable explanation is that, we were made for another world, So you start to tie yourself to things in the world, you start to listen to the media, and this is how you should be living your life. You should be out enjoying yourself, drinking, partying, going with girls, that's living the life. Everyone says the same thing, but when you actually do it, and when you've actually, get out there and start to tie yourself to those sort of things, you learn that it just leaves you empty. Like it's nothing. There's nothing left. Like if anything, it makes you worse than you were before. It turns you into something that you really don't like.
What exactly made you guys realize that, everything in the world was just something like just disgusting, and that's not what you guys wanted?
You know what?
Didn't satisfy you?
With me, I was growing up in a family where like my dad was always like he'd always put $1 in our pocket. Like there was never really any struggle or anything. Like I was very blessed in that sense, and there was a lot of love. We all looked out for each other, good friends. We always took holidays and everything. So I guess there was just a lot of emptiness, and I knew there had to be more to life than this. Like there just had to be more. I mean, is this all we get? Just go through life, tie yourself to the world, enjoy the pleasures, and all you get is this little bitty dash between two dates, and that's it. You're forgotten. Everything's just, well, where's the meaning in that?
Exactly.
There's nothing at all. Then you look at atheism, then it just turns out to be too simple. If the universe really had no meaning, then we should never have found out that it had no meaning.
Yeah.
It's just, it's ridiculous. You can't.
Exactly.
Then you start to ask these sort of questions, and then you start. What happened to me is I went seeking, went books, self-help books, philosophy, all that sort of stuff.
Oh my God.
I actually started searching for answers. Like I was just sick of it all. There had to be more. And the books were good, They told you, be grateful, be content, be ambitious, set your goals, do something in life. And yeah, fair enough, that's good. I loved it. It's great advice, but that doesn't fill the gap, And me, I already knew that sort of stuff was not enough. I mean, I know a lot of rich people. I know a lot of people who do those sort of things, and I don't really envy them. And me, myself, and the way I was brought up, it's just, there's more to it than that. And then at that exact moment where I started seeking, that's when I ran into Tony. That's when I bumped into Tony. And when I saw the way he was and how something had changed him in his life, I started asking him, Tony, what was it? What was it that did this to you? I want to be a part of that. I'm trying to find answers myself. I'm struggling. I'm trying to, even though from an outside perspective, like, yeah, come on, grow up. You've got everything. What do you mean? But then again, how often can you really? No one really knows what goes on inside another person's head or inside another person's soul. No one ever knows, and that's the biggest problem with the world.
Yeah.
Everyone always assumes. Everyone's always. Just everyone's acting. Everyone really is.
It's really interesting that you brought that up, because Tony, what exactly made you change? What was the big wake-up call for you to leave that life? Like, your friends that gave you so much support. What exactly was it?
For me, it was, God obviously knew I was searching to fill my heart. I've always wanted, ever since I was a kid, I've always promised myself I'm going to get married. I want to have kids, I want to have a family. I want to raise a nice family. I don't want to have what my parents did. You know what I mean? I don't want divorce. I'm really patient and stuff like that. And along came my fiance today. She came into my life. Now she's not spiritual, probably nowhere near as much as I am now. But back then she came, it's like he worked through her and he literally just slapped me in the face. I still remember it like it just happened. She, was at my house. Her and her family, they were having dinner, and then she was sitting on the couch with her sister, and she was like, "Why are you standing up?" And I'm like, "I don't know." She's like, "Why don't you come sit next to me?" All right. So I went and sat next to her, and I sat there for 15 minutes. And, my career is I deal with women all day, so talking to women is very easy. But when it came to her, for some reason, I just couldn't talk. So she's like, "Okay then, hi, what's your name?" I'm like, "Hi, I'm Anthony." And she's like, "I'm Pauline." I'm like, "But what is your..." Because she was wearing a necklace, and the necklace said Mina. And then she was like, "Oh, everyone calls me Mina. I don't like the name Pauline." So I froze. It was just, I never felt anything like it. It was literally fulfillment. It was, something just began. I don't know what it was. And I've always loved the feeling of love and the thought of love, but I never could grasp it. I've dated so many and I've met so many people, and I could never feel what I felt with her instantly. And it was breathtaking, mind-blowing. I was literally ruined. I didn't even know what to do. I didn't even know what to say after that.
Why was the name Mina such a surprise to you?
Well, Saint Mina has done he's performed a miracle with my father many years ago. Actually, he is, a part of the Coptic Orthodox community. He got baptized by a priest in St. Mary and St. Mina's in Sydenham. And I used to go with him as a kid, but never thought anything of it. And it was just, I can't even explain to you. That instant she said that to me, it just reminded me of all that. Because my dad always used to tell me Saint Mina, and always used to listen to Pope Shenouda in the car. Well, I'm just this kid listening to Egyptian, we're Lebanese. So I barely understood a word. And look, the main person of this whole thing that happened with me is Pope Shenouda. I couldn't even explain to you when I found a video on my phone, saved in my phone, which was totally shocking because I've got no videos like that in my phone back then. I used to have the total opposite of church things. It was Come Back to God by Pope Shenouda. And I just listened to it over and over and over. And you know what the creepiest thing was? I understood everything he said.
Oh, because Arabic
Egyptian,
wasn't
yeah.
Arabic wasn't
Lebanese and Egyptian, there's differences.
Yeah.
Different dialect, different things mean different words. I'm just like, hold on, why am I understanding? So I'm listening, and as I'm listening, I'm crying. I just couldn't put it down. I just listened to it over and over to the point where I copied it, put it in my car, and that's all I'd listen to. I'd even train in the gym listening to it for months. So then, I went on my search. I went, to the Catholic Church, Bible studies, Mass, all the good stuff of that. There's nothing wrong with the Catholic Church, don't get me wrong. It's just the Monsignor that was at the time in charge of Bible studies and that, he said your questions are very difficult questions to answer in a Bible study. It will take me the whole lesson. What is that? used for a person that's seeking, that wants to know. Like that, to me, that meant nothing. So then I started downloading more Pope Shenouda. And then my dad found out about Abuna Dawood Lame, so I started downloading more of Abuna Dawood Lame and downloading. And see, I don't understand it 100%, but I keep listening to it till I understand it. And anything I never understand, I ask my dad. My dad explains it to me. And then there was just this one time I was walking in a car wash. I washed my car in Sutton's Rosebery, and I was with a few friends of mine. One of them was Egyptian Orthodox, but he's not really practicing. And we were just walking through, just, you know, waiting for the car to be finished washing. And there's a guy sitting on the couch by himself, you know, dressed as a priest with his beard and his hat and his cross. And that was funny. And I'm sitting there talking to my mate, what kind of priest is that? He's like, oh, it's one of ours, Coptic Orthodox. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, it's Abuna Mark. I'm like, should we go say hello to him? It's rude. He's like, yeah, let's go. So we went over, we started talking, you know, and I felt like he was just looking at me the whole time, because I kept asking him things. And then, you know, I showed him, you know, what my future business plans and all that stuff. He's like, God bless you, God with you. And I'm like, this guy's unbelievable. And he just looks at me and he's like, what do you do on Monday nights? I'm like, I don't know, nothing. He's like, well, St. Mark's in Arncliffe does Bible studies, be there. Literally like that, just be there. All right, no worries. So I went one Monday, and honestly, I couldn't leave. I went Monday, found out there was a Wednesday 5 a.m. Mass. I go to that now. I went on Fridays, and I go to Sunday Mass. And it was just, every minute I've been in that church, no words. I'm telling you, just like in Revelation when John speaks of heaven and he says no tongue, no eyes, no ears can explain what he saw. I feel that in that church, and it gives me goosebumps sometimes. Like, honestly, it's...
Sounds amazing. Sounds really beautiful. Well, unfortunately, we have run out of time today. Thank you so much for joining us, and tune into our next episode of Now I See on COIC. God bless.